All right, so it's actually been a while since I've kind of updated everybody with my truck. It's been about, give or take, about a year and some months, maybe. I guess it's even going on. I guess in February it'll be 2 years. Anyways, here's my truck, and I kind of just want to go over everything that I have with you on it, and the good and the bad. There are things on here that I absolutely love, and there are things on here that, let's just say that I think I could have made a better choice. I mean, everything has worked out really well. I think just the more knowledge that I've gotten over the last 2 years and 20,000 miles on owning this truck, I've learned, what is good stuff, what is cheap stuff, stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily saying that anything on my truck is cheap. I'm just saying that I can understand the differences in prices now. So I'm going to go by one on everything so you have an idea on if you should buy it or not. So let's get into that. All right, so we're going to start with lighting. All right. Right here, I do have my last fit. I believe it's a 32-inch light bar. I wish I would have went 40, but honestly, I cannot complain about that. It's worked so well. I really wish that I was better with wiring when I first got it, because I basically just chopped off that it's like a module that you can have different like strobe lights and stuff, but I think you can also change the color. Exactly, see, I don't even know at that point. But I do love it. It's actually brighter than my headlights, which is going to be the next thing that I'm going to be talking about here. My Anzo headlights. These things are by far so much better than OEM. I think GM could have done a lot better with the headlights because the stock ones, even on this 2022, are garbage. However, it is the work truck, so I guess I can't complain. I mean, I'm not really sure if the Z71s have these lights, as in the OEM ones, but these are just so much better, and I'm so happy to have these. The only one issue, and it actually has nothing to do with Anzo, sort of, I guess. Basically, if you have an aftermarket security system, like I do, the startup sequential lights don't work. However, I will show you what they look like when I have my emergency lights on. I can't argue anything. They're so cool. They're just so cool. 3 projectors, very bright, game changer for this truck. If you don't have these headlights or the Co Plus ones, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because this truck really needs these. I do know that they have different ones on eBay and Amazon. I've I've seen them in person. Some people like them. They are a lot cheaper in like the 300, 350 mark, I think. And these are a little expensive. They're about, I think, 1200. I think they're a good buy. I don't know anybody that would say that these are terrible. Like, I love them. No problems at all. So for these pods, they're from LasFit, and they have a specific bracket that goes underneath the hood where you bolt it in. So I had a set of cheapies, and they actually broke off. So if you're gonna get the any pods, just get the one that has the bracket and save yourself the trouble. These are, I know that they have two. They have like a high, I think like a 24 and a 12 volt. I could be wrong, but I had a pair of Amazon pods that were about 5 inches that were so massive. However, these cannot compare to those, and they're like $50 for both of them. These are a little bit more expensive. I would say if you're gonna get these pods, just make sure you get the step above. However, the brightness, I mean, they're the brightness is fine. It's just the cutoff that's like a more of a rectangle than like a flood or ditch light, I guess. I went camping in Big Bear, and to be fair, actually, no, I went camping in Big Bear, and I just turned these off. Uh, Although I think they're good for other things, like just when you're driving in the daytime, you can turn them on, and they're not like super bright, but it's just so people could see you a little bit better in dust. Um, but I love the way that they look. The bolts aren't rusted yet. And yeah, I would just say there's a better version of these and just get those. So next thing is something that you guys already seen me actually set up, which is my Overland Vehicle Systems 180 awning. So do I like it? Do I love it? Yes. Is there a better one that I could have went with? Yes. However, the price I got it for was way too good to not, or way too good to pass up. So I understand right now it looks like a sale, but it's just because I am so lazy to put the tie downs on. I'm only going to be here for a little while, so it's not a real big deal. I did, however, add some LED strips to this part because I got it, and in the packaging it does say that it has LED strips, but mine didn't come with it. Um, and so I just kind of added some cheap LED strips here just for a little bit extra light. It helps a lot. It's when we're camping, we're trying to cook, it's a big help. I would say this is like a 7 out of 10. Let's go with that. 7 out of 10 because I've never had another one, so we'll go with that. For this one, these mods, obviously they're just kind of hard to get to. I mean, not really, but I would just say to film them are kind of weird. So I'm going to just talk about my peak suspension. I have literally no complaints. I mean, sometimes squeaky, but that's from the Dirt King upper control arms. Other than that, like ride and everything, I'm so new to trucks, I couldn't tell you what's better. These Kings, Icon, Bilstein, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but for me, they work for me. It's a step up from the work truck suspension, so I'm not mad about it. I have it set up at about 3 inches and I have a 1 inch block in the back to keep the rake. However, once we put the cap on and the rooftop tent, kind of just took that away. So there's that. Next thing I want to talk about, my ranch cap. I wasn't really a fan of it, to be honest. When I first got it, I really loved the rack look, but this thing is just so useful for so many things. Like when we're cooking here, I could literally put a bunch of stuff right here, just like condiments and stuff. But also inside has an LED light in there, like an LED strip plus another one. So super helpful to be able to see everything when I'm grabbing it. I do have a bunch of stuff back here, so I guess I can show you, but it's kind of pointless. So I'm gonna say I love this. I love this cap. You know, we went to Utah over like Christmas vacation break, whatever. And at the time I had the rack, and believe me, I loved the look of the rack. Like I loved it with the rooftop tent. However, the thing that sucked is every time we had to stay in a hotel because it was like 14 degrees outside. And I mean, I like to camp, but with the two dogs and everything back then, it just wasn't really something that we should do. So when I had all that stuff, we had so much stuff in the back, and I had to take everything out every single night. Or well, every time we stayed at a hotel, so I can pack it up in there so it's not just sitting in there. So now I just lock it, leave it, completely forget about it. So that's one thing I really, really, really like about it. I I really can't complain about it. It's color matched to the truck, so hopefully I can get everything tinted so it'll be blacked out again. So next thing I'm going to talk about is my rooftop tent. It's also from Overland Vehicle Systems. If you've watched any of my other videos, you would be able to tell that I have not really enjoyed it that much. Now, with that being said, it is a good tent. The inside is super comfortable. There are just a few things that are kind of stupid that I feel like they completely missed the mark. And it's not even like a big deal, it's just kind of annoying. And on my tent specifically, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So, this is the Bushville 2 tent. Now, it has a few more annoying things than anything on it, and I'm going to just point them out really quickly. Number one, I don't know what's going on here. I've tried so many times to fix that, and the plastic just completely stays like that. That's number one. Number two is the latches. The latches within the first 6 months, I lost bolts. I see rust already on these, and they're supposed to be aircraft type steel, which I don't believe. Now, in third, they come with these, latches to lock it down. I I'm gonna say about four of them have already broke, and so that's why you can see that it's actually sliding forward. So I know that I sound like I'm nitpicking everything, and I kind of am. It's not a bad thing. It's just I got a lot of this stuff for discount or free, or just I knew somebody and they hooked me up. Regardless, the reason why I'm making you guys this video and the reason why I'm nitpicking is because that awning online, I think it's $799, and it doesn't come with an LED strip. At least the one that I got. The rooftop tent that I got is, I believe, 2,700 or something like that. And I mean, if you're paying that much, I don't think your brackets should be rusting within the first year, or the bolts jiggling off. So that's that. For the LEDs, for like the front LEDs, I guess for the 3-inch pods, I wouldn't say it's a terrible buy because they're pretty cheap. So I mean, when you're buying cheap lights, you kind of get what you get, right? Now, the Anzo headlights, I like them a lot, so I'm not going to say anything bad about them. They are sick. So next I'm going to talk to you guys about my Black Rhino wheels and my Milestar Patagonia tires. Now, I'm going to just say it's easy, but they're wheels. I like them. Fine. I haven't had an issue with them. They're not loud on the freeway, or at least mine aren't. And I have literally no complaints at all. So I like them, and that's about it. This right here is my Last Fit 8 gang panel, which I don't believe it's on right now. So the 8 gang LasFit panel is not plugged in right now. I just turned it off. Now I turned it off for no actual reason. I just turned it off. Well, I did turn it off for a reason, but it wasn't because it was acting up. It was basically because I just want to redo the wiring so it just looks better, that connects better. I completely half-assed it. We installed it at night, the night before with my lights, and just it was bad. Not really, but I mean, if you are a electrical guy, you'll probably hate the way that my engine bay looks. I also forgot that I have rock lights, and they're from LasFit, and love them. They're white. They are switchbacks, so you can switch them. However, again, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I cut the module off, and so they're only white. However, they are also, there's 3 wires, so I still have all 3 wires, and so I can actually, depending on which wire, I can just kind of swap them out, or I can add one to a different terminal. So I can add another one to a different terminal, and so I'll have the actual ability to switch them from yellow to white. No complaints there. They're rock lights. There's not really much to it. As of right now, I just want to say that I'm really grateful for everybody that I've met through the Chevy Colorado community. I want to give a big shout out to Peak Suspension, Black Rhino, Milestar, Ranch, Fiberglass, Anza USA, LasFit. I feel like I may be forgetting something, but as of right now, just want to give a shout out to them. And if you have any questions, feel free to just ask me or follow me on Instagram at Daniel Espinoza. It's ZUH, not ZA. I will see you in the next one.